another paranormal activity or paranormal in the hood, because we got another video. And so in today's video, we are going to be traveling to the Midwest. We're going to be going to Chicago, Lake Michigan, in that area for today's video. So y'all, I didn't realize how creepy Chicago is. And so, let alone Lake Michigan, because we always hear about Lake Lanier, right? I don't ever hear much about like what goes on in Lake Michigan. So I stumbled across this young lady's TikTok on my FYP page as she tells her story about, she has a slew of like spooky stories about living in Chicago. And so before we get into her video, right, I just think that it's important to note that there are some beliefs that Lake Michigan could possibly be covering up an underground city. There's things underneath, which we've heard time and time again in a lot of these from American, well, not in the traditional American history setting, but like through conspiracy theories, we hear that a lot of these towns were drowned out so that another city could be built on top, right? And so it's also important for me to say that in 1871, I think it was, or 1871, there was a fire that happened in Chicago and they had to reconstruct and rebuild. So it's quite possible, you know, that's how they got a lot of these underground tunnels in Chicago as well. And so because we know Chicago, I mean, I've never been to Chicago before, you know, but we know the history, like with Al Capone and Valentine's Day, and it's just very bloody and murderous activities that were happening. There's a lot of bodies probably in Lake Michigan, which holds energy. Water holds energy. Spirits holds energy. So like if there's like a lot of like bodies and spirits inside of Lake Michigan, I'm not surprised by a lot of these spooky videos that are coming out about Chicago. So we're gonna get into this. I think I'm gonna put in 2 or 3 videos for y'all to watch and for us to discuss. So let's get into the first video.
Why y'all ain't tell me it was a paranormal side of TikTok for Chicago? I have found my people, baby. It is so much paranormal activity in Chicago, it's not even funny. And it's not just from the gang violence and killings from that. No, it's more than that. Like, y'all gotta realize how many people died trying to actually build this city. Because you gotta remember, it was a swamp. The Irish and the Polish, baby, they had it rough building this bitch. They blood is everywhere. Okay? They was used and abused just as bad as the slaves in the South. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Hell, a lot of people don't realize Valentine's Day, as in February 14th, the I love you, you love me day, was made because of Al Capone and his murderous rampage across Chicago in the Midwest. Chicago is soaked in blood, okay? Political or even regular schmegular people. It is soaked in blood. And one thing for sure and 2 things for certain, baby, the land, don't let it go. There are places in Chicago where you can actively feel the energy field change. Like you could cross a block and you could feel the energy change. I got a story time for y'all, and it's about how I was chased down on 76 and Exchange by a ghost, and the police low-key saved me. It's like 2:30 in the morning, baby. When I tell you me and my old man was going at it at this time, baby, we was going at it. And if I stayed in that house, they was going to bring me out in handcuffs and him in a body bag, baby. I had to go. I tell myself, you know what? I'm going to just take one little whoop around the block. I'll be all right. Wrong. I was wrong. First and foremost, you don't go walking around outside in no place in no part of this motherfucking world at 2 o'clock in the morning, because that's the witching hour, okay? Spirits is going to get your ass. And me being me from the family that I'm from, spirits is gonna get my ass. So check this. I'm coming up 77th and Exchange. On the side of the block that I'm on, that's the same side of the block where the nursing home is, on 75th and Exchange. As soon as I crossed the corner from 77 to 76, it was an energy change. Like instant goosebumps. Hairs standing on end. Every part of my being is telling me, bitch, fight or flight. Run, ho, run. But I stay the course. I'm going down Exchange. I'm on 76. I'm halfway through with it. As I cross over to 75th, it gets cold. Okay? Get real cold. Halfway in the block, the lights in the metro station start going off. Over there on Exchange, the metro station stretch a whole fucking block. So from the beginning, or the end of 76, 75th, all the way down to the point where 75th and 74th touch. That's one long ass metro station. Starting from down there at 76, baby, you could hear them lights as if it was a fucking movie. You could hear the lights turning off section by section. And then the street lights started following it. I want to scream. I can't. I want to run. I can't. The lights turning off is almost to me. And finally something unlocked my feet for me to fucking move. So now I'm walking again. I get to the corner of 75th and Exchange. This is where one side got the nursing home. Across from that got the currency exchange. Across from that, across the tracks is the restaurant. Across the street from that is the liquor store. Y'all know where I'm at? Okay, good. Because in that intersection where it's always lights, no matter if it's on a building, on the street, or on Metro, all that shit turned the fuck off. The only thing that was lit up was the sign to the fucking nursing home. Y'all, oh my God. Either I'm finna die or I'm finna get possessed. I just know it. I just know it. Glory be to God, out of nowhere, a fucking police officer just turned on the lights. They sitting in the driveway of the nursing home. He get on the megaphone. He say, "What you doing out here this late, Miss Lady?" "Oh, Lord. Oh, hallelujah, bitch. Serve and protect. Take me home. Take me home." That man say, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I said, "I don't know what the fuck is wrong, but the lights is going off. It's cold as hell. Take me the fuck home. Put serve and protect, bitch. Send me home now." The driving cop is a white cop. The passenger cop is a black cop. He trying to calm me down. It ain't working. The white cop say, "Hey, bro, I ain't got time for this shit. I'm finna get another detail." "I'm sorry, has this happened before?" He say, "Yeah, this the third time in a row. I ain't got time for this shit. It's weird shit happening in my house now. Hell to the no. Please do your job and take me home. Baby, I am paying your salary. Take me home. Take me home. Serve and protect. Take me home." As soon as I got into the squad car, I fucking kid you not, every light in the intersection came back on. Oh, Lord. The ghost tried to get me, y'all. The black cop say, "Oh, hell no. Hurry the fuck up. Where she live at?" I ain't never been so happy to walk into my goddamn apartment. Never, never in my life. When I tell you, I walked in that kitchen, I grabbed some pure olive oil, and baby, y'all got the chanting, throwing oil on the goddamn door. I don't know what the fuck is out there, but it got to stay out there. It's some crazy paranormal shit that happened in Chicago. I got stories on stories on stories on stories, because I be something everywhere in the city all the time. Baby, whew, if y'all want another one, let me know.
And y'all talk about New Orleans having that creepy energy. I can only imagine what's going on in Chicago, given that energy never dies. So the fact that, first of all, she don't need to be outside walking at no 1, 2 o'clock morning. You know, that's when the ghosts come out to play. That's when the bell thins around 3 o'clock in the morning. So what are you doing? And so, like, the fact that the police officer was like, "Oh, hell no, I don't have time for this again," lets you know that these things happen all the time in Chicago. And it's like, girl, I didn't know. And I'm so crazy because now I want to go to Chicago and see what the vibe is about. No, I've been wanting to go to Chicago. I heard the food was good out there. But outside of that alone, that is hella creepy. And girl, I'm gonna need you not to be walking the streets of Chicago so late at night outside of, like, girl, look, or what they say on mainstream media about what be going on in Chicago. I'm gonna need you not to do that again, okay? And so she has another story that I'm gonna play the video for, so we can listen to that as well. Let's get into this one.
Y'all like my stories about the paranormal activity that I experienced in Chicago? Well, here we go, story time again. This time is a story time about how I got possessed while I was sleeping at a park, and the spirit almost killed me. Y'all, if you would have asked me, I was back in the 90s. It was hot as fuck. It's the summertime. I'm laying in my bed just being a beautiful fat kid. And then I hear my friends' voices yelling through my bedroom window for me to get the fuck up. As I'm walking to the window, I can hear their feet running down the gangway back to the front of the house. For the people who don't know what a gangway is, in Chicago, our houses are close together, but they're still far apart, if that makes any sense. And in between our houses, we have walkways that we call gangways. Now, here's the thing. Most of the houses and buildings in Chicago is made out of brick because we had the biggest brick building, brick making company in the country. So when you running down the gangway or you talking through the gangway, everything echo. Remember that I said everything echo. Because after their feet stopped running through the gangway, I couldn't hear anything. It was as if somebody had put noise cancellation headphones on my whole entire body. My childhood house is on 75th in Michigan, and it's right down the street from the 50-yard line. This is a busy street. 75th Street is busy. 76th Street is busy. We right by the expressway. I feel rumbles and grumbles from the expressway all the fucking time. But at this particular moment, I hear and feel nothing. Being a kid, I'm not too alarmed. I shit, shower, shave, take my ass outside. But see, here's the thing. When I get outside, nobody is out there. I could see the cars going past down 76th Street, but I can't fucking hear them. I get to walking down the block. I think I got like maybe 100 feet away from my front door, and something told me to look up at the sun. But see, that's the next problem. The sun wasn't the sun that I know. I have never seen the sun like this before. I was finna say I don't know how to describe it to you, but actually, I'm looking at a perfect example. Okay, you see this lamp? You see how like it's warmish yellow, but you could see like it's something bigger and brighter back there, right? That's how the sun looks. You know, like I know, you ain't supposed to be able to look directly into the sun without your retinas burning at some point in time, but here my ass is looking up at this bitch without a fucking bright. As I'm looking up, I get to walking, cause I hear my friends playing down the street. I don't see them, but I can hear them. Next thing I know, I hear my grandma voice telling me, Catherine, God damn it, Catherine, get your spirit back in this house. The fact that she said, get your spirit back in this house made me turn the fuck around and double time back to that front porch. Do you hear me? But here's the thing. When I get to the front porch, I run in, I close the door. When I close the door, for whatever reason why, I open up my eyes and y'all, I kid you not, I open my eyes and I'm looking down a fucking cliff to some sharp ass fucking rocks and waves. Haunted location number 2, the South Shore Cultural Center on 71st and South Shore. Baby, this bitch is lit. Do you hear me? The motherfucker is lit. At night, you can see orbs dancing across the damn water or across the, a part of the, what is the golf course name? Whatever the golf course is on the south side, a part of that golf course, you can see little orbs dancing across the goddamn grass. If you go to the conservatory and you drive around to the back, you will see that it lets out into a beautiful beach. If you walk down the beach to the other end and you go up the little, it look like a little hill, that leads you to the lagoon. It's one of many naturally preserved lagoons in Chicago. If you keep on walking through, you will get to a plateau, and it's got like a couple of different little fire pits out there, and it just has beautiful scenery of the city. Me and my friend, we take our books, our blankets, something to eat, something to drink. We go out there and we lay in the grass. Somehow, some way, we fall asleep. Here's a no-no. You don't never go through trees that cross each other. If you have trees that cross and they leave an opening, 9 times out of 10, it's a motherfucking opening to another dimension. You stay the fuck away from. What I did not realize is that we were literally laying under trees that was touching at the very top. Y'all, the goddamn spirits out of pen came into my motherfucking dreams and was trying to make me jump over the edge. As I open up my eyes and I finally see the waves and the rocks and the water beneath me, everything around me starts to come back into play. Like now I can finally hear things. I can see things. I can feel the heat from the sun. But most notably, it's my friend screaming at the top of her lungs telling me to wake the fuck up. Sis behind me grabbing my pants trying to pull me away from the edge. She literally chanting, Mama Angie, Grandma Minnie, somebody please, please from the afterworld release her. Child. The spirits almost got my ass. They almost got me. We sitting there. I'm trying to tell her what the fuck happened to me in this damn dream. Cause baby, if you would have asked me, I was 10 years old back in the motherfucking 90s playing on 75th in Michigan. She just so happened to like pull one of these moves and she look up. And she say, holy shit. Baby, when I tell you that the branches of these 2 trees literally made 3 arches above us. We broke camp, bitch. We broke camp. You ain't got to tell us. You, Mr. Spirit, that's your house. You right. You right. You got it. You got it. I'm talking about as soon as we left from the lagoon land, we turned around and we said a blessing prayer, hoping that nothing will follow us because we ain't want no motherfucking smoke. Now here's the crazy part. We done got out of the whole conservatory park, okay? We finna get on the bus. She say, girl, if that ghost would have did something to you, I ought to fuck that ghost up. When I tell you, the bus doors closed so hard on that woman and squeezed her, baby, when I tell you them doors will not open. The motherfucking bus driver is like, what the fuck? What the fuck? He trying to pull the handle and shit. She screaming, I'm screaming, and I say, she ain't mean it, she ain't mean it. Bitch, the door's open. Ho, 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 ho. We finna go to this motherfucking church and get blessed, baby. We finna go get blessed, baby, because Mr. Man, Mr. Spirit, he with us. We can't have this shit going to the crib. We gotta go get blessed, bitch. Baby, Chicago is active on the paranormal side, especially around the water. Especially around the water. The water don't never forget. The land don't never forget. You got to be careful around these parts. You can't just worry about the alive humans. You got to worry about the unalive humans, too.
Like, I'm gonna have to Google schmoogle to see what that is. Like, what do you mean by that? And then she said it was like 3 arches above them. Girl, I don't know. But thank God. I'm gonna just say this. God knows who to give certain gifts to in regards to who can see what or experience what, because babes, not me, not I can't handle stuff like that. I can't. She clearly can handle it because she out here cracking jokes about it on the internet. But like she said, very important, the land never forgets, the water never forgets, the land and water holds energy. And that's why when you hear stories about, you know, these properties built on native grounds or cemeteries and creepy things happen, it's because it's a lot of energy there. And like sis said, it's not only do you have to worry about the people that are alive, you gotta worry about the people that's dead and the energy that carries, right? And someone left a comment saying metaphysical Chicago as a threshold. For indigenous people, Chicago wasn't just land, it was a threshold zone between waters like Great Lakes and the Mississippi River, between nations, a meeting place between worlds, the physical and the spiritual. And in that sense, Chicago carries the metaphysical property of a liminal place, a doorway city where transformation, negotiation, and spirit contact are strong. I believe that. Yeah. Because we know a lot of Native Americans settled were, you know, like are in the Midwest, where Chicago, Indiana, like Wisconsin, all those places. So I do believe that there is some truth to that. Like, I'm not gonna negate this lady's story. One, she's entertaining, but two, you know, I mean, I believe that they're like, because I've been hearing a lot of creepy stuff about Lake Michigan, I may throw in a third video in this video for us to respond and react to. I don't know, girl, I would be in church if I was her, because she has had a lot happen to her from what she's telling on TikTok. Babes, go get prayed up, go to church, because that is scary. Because I was like, was they smoking? Was she on stuff? Like, what's going on? Did she look to whatever with the garden? Because I'm like, girl, like, y'all got a lot going on. And so I think I am going to throw in. So this is what made me, I'm going to throw this video in. This video here was like, okay, we're going to have to talk about, might even have to do a deep dive at some point about Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Lanier, all of these lakes, because this lady made a video. She went to Idaho. I want to say Portuguese or something like that, Idaho. She went to a beach You will see. And so something very sinister happened to her while she was at this beach with her man. So let's get into this one.
So I saw a video of a woman who was doing a story time about her being a security guard at Navy Pier. And it inspired me to talk about the time that me and my husband went to Indiana for our anniversary. Well, it was our honeymoon. We were told to never tell this story by a certain individual, and it will all make sense once I start to tell the story and you'll know who that individual is. But here it goes. So back in 2021, me and my husband got married, and we went to Indiana, the town of Portage, to, have our honeymoon for a week. We went to a beach called Porter Beach. The first day, fine, everything like that. Then we found out that there was, streets that could lead you there that you didn't have to pay for. So second day we went there. We spent almost every day at the beach that week. Second day we went there, it was fine. Third day we went there. We had some, road sodas. A big storm looked like it was rolling in. There was also the sky turned purple and pink. I've never even seen it before. I'm going to insert the picture. So as you can see here, the sky was purple and pink. Most beautiful thing I ever seen in my life. I've never experienced it. It was like being in a fight scene from Dragon Ball Z. And then the sky turned into this. There was a bunch of people taking pictures. There was people even in the water. The waves were huge. Mind you, this is Lake Michigan. When I arrived there, I thought this was like the East Coast with how big the waves were, but I digress. Now, there's a video on here that I tried to put on here, but apparently it's not letting me do it. But after that video was taken, everything just started going weird. So night had fallen. Me and my husband went to the truck to go, have a little bit of our road soda. And by the time we got out of the truck, everybody was gone. Every single person was gone, right? So I stood on the beach, and while my husband went to go get the truck and point the headlights at the water because it was pretty dark over there. As soon as he arrived back, he got out of the truck. We were saying how, we're conversating, saying how beautiful it was. And then out of nowhere, a man walks out of the darkness from the beach. He had a black windbreaker on, some tan khaki shorts, and no shoes on. And he walks past me and my husband, and he says, with a smile, "Beautiful night, isn't it?" And then just walked off into the distance. Me and my husband just looked at each other like, okay, that was kind of weird, And when we turned around, that man was gone. So the way that the street is, it's a straight street. You could see just straight. It's just straight. You can see as far as it is, right? And the only cutoff part was the parking lot. Me and my husband looked over there. Nobody was over there. He disappeared. I don't know where he went, but getting back to it, right? So after that first strange occurrence happened, me and my husband, we're just like, okay, where the fuck did he go? That's kind of weird, blah, blah, blah. We're looking at the water, and it was nice. And then we turned around, and we started having more conversation with each other. And I turned and I look at the water. Sorry, I had to stop for a minute. I turned and looked at the water, and there was something that was about, I want to say 8 feet, maybe 10 feet tall, standing in the water. And my husband's like, "That's a buoy." And I'm like, it can't be a buoy, because if it's a buoy, it would be moving. That thing was standing right there, and the waves were crashing over it. But it was just standing there, and the eyes were glowing. They were glowing like this greenish, yellow, like cat. When cats, you flash a light at their eyes, or dogs, that's what it looked like. So my husband goes and starts inching a little closer to the water, and I said, you know what I mean? I'm a woman of color. We don't do that. We don't do that. Get your ass in the truck and let's go. This next part is a little hard for me because I was scared for my fucking life. We got in the truck, and my husband whips it around, and we start to speed off on the street. So we're going, and my husband, he hits the curve, and then it goes straight, and then you're supposed to go over a train track. The moment we hit that curve, my husband's truck started sputtering, and the lights started flickering. Like nothing was wrong with the truck. The truck was serviced before we went on this honeymoon. So nothing should have been going on. Like it was about to shut off, kind of flickering. The moment we hit the main road, everything was fine. And we're talking about how scared we are, and then we realize that we're hungry. So we go to the Applebee's, we're telling the server, it's our honeymoon, we just got married. He gives us free margaritas and stuff like that. And then we proceed to tell him the story of what just happened. So he goes in the back to get our food, and he comes back out, and his manager walks up and says, "Hey, you have a phone call in the back. I don't know who it is." And I'm like thinking to myself, why the fuck would he have a phone call at the restaurant? People have cell phones. So the manager proceeds to ask us to tell us the story, tell her the story again. And, we oblige, we do. So the most craziest fucking thing happened. After we're done telling her the story, she proceeds to comp our whole meal, which was like $130 something. She proceeds to comp our whole meal and tell us to never tell this story to anyone ever again. I am fully convinced that something is in that lake. I may put my feet in Lake Michigan, but my whole body ain't going in that shit at all. And every year, my husband takes me back to Porter Beach. We leave before nightfall. We not doing that. Not again. I mean, it scared me that bad that I think that motherfucker, whatever the fuck it was, is waiting for us. It's waiting for us to come back. It's just waiting for nightfall and to have us alone because I'm telling you, it was menacing. What was standing there was very menacing. And also, side note, like when it was standing in the water and I was staring back at it, the eye contact was not broken at all between me and whatever the fuck it was. But my husband kept darting his eyes over to me, and I felt frozen. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. My husband's like, it's a buoy. No, it's not a fucking buoy. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's not a buoy. Buoys move like this when they're in the water. They don't just stand there and just fucking let waves proceed to crash over it. Like, that doesn't make sense. So I say all that to say this. Be careful when you go in Lake Michigan. Because of all the stories of the creatures that I've heard about being in Lake Michigan, that shit is fucking real. 100% fucking real.
So that was very creepy and very scary. And I want to know why she couldn't tell this story. Like, what do the people who are in Indiana or in that town, what do y'all know? Like, why couldn't she go back and repeat, like, what happened? I mean, sis told us, even if her whole bill from Applebee's was comp, and she still came back and told us, someone was like, you're going to get a bill from Applebee's now. But no, this is scary, y'all. Something surrounding the waters. Like I said, I think the waters, and I have a video that y'all can go back and check out that I did a couple of months ago about water spirits and stuff like that. I did do a part 2, but I didn't like edit and post because it didn't do that great because I guess a lot of people wasn't into it. But there is something to be said about energy and how water and land holds energy. And there's a lot more that goes on in the world than what meets the natural eye. It's creepy, but I think I am crazy. I think this stuff is interesting. God, I pray none of this ever happened. I don't want to experience any of this. Let me just look at it on TikTok and like see what's going on so we can talk about it and keep about it on here because babes, I can't handle anything like that. Like one little thing, like girl, sometimes creepy stuff happens when I'm up here. Like I have to stop filming. I'm like, what's that sound? What's that noise? I'm texting my husband because babes, I will get out of here. I will be gone. But anyways, you guys, tell me what y'all thoughts are about the Chicago paranormal scene. I'm gonna do another video about the Chicago paranormal because homegirl who I clips I put in, she has more stories to spill. And there's also another lady who went through the similar thing about this last video that I posted when she went to a beach in Indiana, that same beach. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that could have been. I've never heard of anything like that to be able to provide commentary in a sense of like, oh, I heard this could have been impossible, blah, 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 blah. Never heard that before. A sea creature? Is that a sea creature? Could it have been a sea creature? Girl, I don't know. That sounds scary. Or was it like a mermaid or something? I don't know, child. But anyways, let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. This is probably like the third Paranormal in the Hood video. The first two are live, but I think I'm just going to stick with doing the pre-records because the quality looks a whole lot better. Let me know what y'all think about this segment about Paranormal in the Hood. Do y'all think I need to keep doing it? Whatever. You know, my name is Brittany Janae. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!